Now, something else that added a little bit of the spice right off the bat in this game was a little bit of an exchange between Wayne Simmonds and Alex Edler.
Yeah, this was coming from a mile away, and thank goodness Wayne Simmonds did this because that Alex Edler hit was just such a bad hit on such an important player for the Leafs. If they came out and did nothing, like maybe I wouldn't freak out like I did the other night, but it would have been close to that because it would have been just so embarrassing from this Leafs team to do nothing about that. So I'm glad Simmonds did it. And I mean, that fight was pretty pathetic from Edler. He just kind of sat there and turtled like a coward. But hey, I guess he's better at throwing knees than throwing
Yeah,
hands.
Edler is not a fighter. Personally, I actually respect him for at least answering the call on that and being willing to fight. I 100% support Simmonds doing that because you got to send the message that anybody who does something to one of our stars is going to pay the consequence. If Wayne Simmonds isn't going to do that, then what is he here for? So I'm very very happy with Simmonds to do that. It was nice to see him land a couple. Now I did not understand the people on Twitter who were saying like, "Oh, that's pretty cowardly by the Leafs there to go after a 35-year-old 2.5 weeks off of COVID." Like, what does that even mean? He was good enough 2.5 weeks ago to injure one of our best players, so I think he's fine enough to fight. If if Edler were really that scared of fighting, he could have said no, and the Leafs probably would have got an instigator penalty. But he stood up for his action. And I don't like it was a dirty hit that he made, and I'm glad we made him pay the consequence for it. But at the same time, it's not a decision where he's making that probably trying to hurt Hyman. So I think that was fair. He got suspended for it. He got in the fight. It's time for everybody to move on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you listen to the intermission, but I heard a nice little take from Dave Poulin saying that Edler shouldn't have to fight. He's earned more respect in the league. Ooh, lottie lottie dottie, big high horse Dave Poulin. Like, come on, Dave. Look at who you employed and who you gave big contracts to when you were the general manager of the Leafs. And now you're going to come out and say when the Leafs actually go out and play physical and make a fight that, oh, it's just not a good look for the Leafs. Like, dude, shut up. Like, get over yourself. We know you hate the Leafs. They fired you because you were garbage. Like, get over it. How many times have we heard the TSN panel, the Sportsnet panels being like, Leafs are soft, Leafs are wimps. And then when they actually, start throwing hits, then all of a sudden the big narratives, oh, are the Leafs the dirtiest team in the league? All of a sudden they stand up and protect one of their teammates, or at least make someone answer the bell for a disgusting hit on one of their teammates. And all of a sudden this big narrative is like, oh, that's pretty classless. This guy just had COVID a couple weeks ago. Like, yes, I'm sure COVID is impacting the Vancouver Canucks right now, making their lives tough. But he was good enough 2 weeks ago to lay a gutless, disgusting hit on Hyman. Then he's sure enough good enough to fight, and I think he absolutely needed to. And I'm like I said before, I'm just glad Simmonds did it. But like this whole holier than thou narrative coming from some media, I heard it on like a Canucks radio station, all over Twitter, is just it's just clown takes at this point. It's just complete clown takes because people are just obsessed with the Leafs and they just can't admit when the Leafs do something that they should do.
Yeah, I will say I don't want to attribute the COVID take to Poulin. But he did just say basically, yeah, the Edler shouldn't have had to fight. All this garbly goggly gook that made no sense, to be honest. When like we said, he was the assistant general manager of a Leafs team that paid David Clarkson $5.5 million and had Colton Orr and Fraser McLaren on the team. You're telling me that if that were his Leafs team and somebody did something to Phil Kessel back in the day, he wouldn't want Clarkson or McLaren going after him? I call BS on
That's
that.
some bullshit.
I'm gonna call it right now because that is what media have been clamoring for years from the Leafs. Every time Matthews gets hurt, it's like, where's the response? I want to see the response from the Leafs. And now they start to respond, and people complain about it. Like Jeff O'Neill at the intermission, he hit the nail on the head. He said basically, yeah, Edler, was he trying to hurt him on that hit? No, but was it a dirty hit? Yes, and it that's what you do. You have to pay the consequence for what you did. Edler did that, and we all move on. So I think the way that this whole scenario has played out is pretty much perfect from the Leafs, and I just love seeing a team that stands up for each other.
And I think that's a very important point to make. The thing that you said kind of last there, like standing up for each other. Listen, like Wayne Simmonds going and punching Alex Edler tonight is not going to make Alex Edler not do that play again. Like that's not where the kind of benefit from the Leafs side of things are going to go. It's that if someone does do something like that in the future, then Leafs players know, hey, my boys have me. no matter what. Like we ride or die for the boys. Like we are a team. We're in this together, and we're gonna fight together, and we're gonna play hockey together, and we're gonna win together, right? So I think that's the biggest thing that like Wayne Simmonds, good on him. He took that on his shoulders, but it flows all through the room. Like, hey, if Wayne's gonna stick up for me, who knows? Like Wayne Simmonds takes a hit, maybe you see one of our better players going, hey, like he's gonna stick up for me, I'm gonna stick up for him. Just has that little trickle down effect. We kind of talked about the trickle down effect when it comes to leadership with Joe Thornton, Jason Spezza, and guys like that. And I think this is a similar scenario where you see Wayne Simmonds go out, really well respected player in the room like Zach Hyman. Everyone loves him. He's out, dirty hit. Wayne Simmonds answers the bell. It's just going to flow through the room and do more good things for the Leafs.